Do you have dreams? Not those kinds of dreams. Dreams like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Well, if you have dreams, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can achieve them. And I'm going to show you how I did something I absolutely did not want to do when I published my children's book, I Have a Dream. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Hi there, I'm Kathy, a former elementary teacher turned children's book author and founder of Teacher Authors Academy, where I help teachers publish their very own children's books and launch their own publishing companies. In honor of Black History Month, I wanted to share my very special book with you entitled I Have a Dream, that I published in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, I want to give you just a brief history of the book and how it came into reality. As you probably already know, it was written in honor of Dr. King. I came up with the idea last year for MLK Day. I was actually in the shower. I know, that's TMI. I was in the shower on MLK Day last year, and I have this YouTube channel and I publish books for children, and I said, you know what, I need to do something in honor of Dr. King. And I also have social media pages, and of course I was going to post something in honor of Dr. King, but I said, you know what, I think I need to go a step farther for everything Dr. King has done for the world. So I decided to write a song in honor of Dr. King. Now, if you haven't checked out my Beatbox Beats YouTube channel, I'll put the link in the description. You should definitely head over there. There's some great songs for kids. And if you're not a kid, I think you'll still like them as well. So I decided to write and record a song in honor of Dr. King. And I was thinking what I could do for Dr. King. There's so much you could do to honor Dr. King. So I wanted to go from the standpoint of dreams. You know, Dr. King, he had a dream. He's famous for his dream. So I decided to go from the standpoint of a dream. And because I'm an educator and primarily lower elementary primary school educator, I decided to create a song that lists characteristics that children and people need to achieve their dreams. And the characteristics would go from A to Z. So for A, we have audacious. You need to be audacious when you have a dream. You need to be brave. You need to be consistent and determined. So I was going to complete the entire alphabet with characteristics people need to be successful and to achieve their dreams. So I thought it was a great idea. So I started with the song. I had all of the letters from A to Z. And then I said, you know what? I have this song. It lists all these characteristics from A to Z. I can easily turn this into a book. So I sat down and I wrote out some poems to go with each of those characteristics, and a book was born. Now, the great thing about this book is that I completed it in a total of 2.5 days, because remember, it was MLK Day and I was in the shower when the idea came. So I had to move pretty quickly in order to get my book done. And it was okay if it wasn't published on MLK Day. I still wanted to do something in honor of Dr. King. And once I got started writing the book, I just couldn't stop. I thought it was so great, so good, and I thought it would be powerful because I'm a former teacher, and it might be different at the upper elementary or even middle school and high school levels, but for me, in my experience, I never talked to my students about being audacious or being consistent or determined. I never talked or spoke to my students about characteristics and qualities they need to achieve their dreams. You know, we as teachers, sometimes we just try to get through the day, and then we try to get through the week, try to get through the month, and try to get through the school year. So there's not a lot of development in our students with their character when we think about how they are going to be in the real world when they graduate high school, when they graduate college. All of these characteristics they'll need to be successful, whether they'll be entrepreneurs or not. But I think having these characteristics that I'm going to share with you are very important for students so they can be successful and so they can achieve their dreams, which is the entire point of the book. And this is one of my favorite books. I don't say, well, actually, I do say that often. I say all of my books are one of my favorite books, which is true. They all are one of my favorites. They're like my babies. But this one is very, very special, primarily because it is dedicated to Dr. King, and I just think children need to hear more of these qualities and characteristics that I list in the book, and I think it would be a great opportunity for parents and teachers to share these with students and revisit it often so students can really get a foundation for these characteristics while they're young, because I didn't hear about this when I was young. I was just going to school, making good grades, coming home, doing homework, watching TV, and going to bed. So I wasn't really instilled with, values and qualities to be successful, to go out into the world and reach your dreams. So I wanted to create this for students, for children, for America's future. This is my contribution to America. You're welcome. Let's dive in and I'll show you how I designed the book, I Have a Dream. Now for this book, I decided to use Canva to illustrate it. If you know me, you know I love Canva. So I decided to use Canva, and it wasn't going to be difficult at all because I had rhymes and there wasn't a central character. This is a first person type book. It's a book of affirmations. So the reader is really the character, and I didn't have to have a character and put that character in different positions and scenarios and different scenes. So I could be more flexible and I had more options for illustrating. So I went to Canva and I decided to do an outer space theme, and I love watercolor. I love watercolor. So I went to Canva and I searched for Canva's watercolor space backgrounds and watercolor galaxies and watercolor rockets and watercolor aliens and just watercolor everything. So I found all my watercolor illustrations and images and I put them together. I overlaid them and overlapped them and I made it come together so it looks really cohesive. And again, because I didn't have a central character, because it's a book of affirmations, I had so much freedom to design as I would like to, with different scenes. Some are very dark, some are lighter, some are in space, some are, on planets and different. So it was really fun to design this book, and it didn't take long at all. So if you are considering creating a book of affirmations for children, a book of motivation or inspirational quotes, Canva is a great resource to use when illustrating your story. Now, I am going to tell you something that I had to do with my book that I absolutely did not want to do. When I first published this book, I Have a Dream, I had a beautiful script font. It was so beautiful, and the entire message of I Have a Dream, it's very inspirational, it's very lofty, you're thinking up in the air, and I just wanted something beautiful. I wanted something to match the book, and I went with a script font. Now, I changed it months later, and that's what's so great about self-publishing and publishing with Amazon KDP, which I used to publish this book. But you can go back and make changes to your book, your manuscript, your cover, whatever it is you want to make changes to later on if you decide you need to do that. So I reluctantly changed my font because I decided to choose function over form. My font was so beautiful. I miss it to this day. And I ultimately decided to go with a print font, with a more standard font that children can actually read. And I know, it's kind of controversial with cursive. Is it going to be around? Is it not going to be around? So I just went with a plain font. I tried to make it as nice as it could be and kind of match the theme of my book, but I do miss my script font. But I decided to change it to this so children can actually read it, which is the most important part of the book anyway, I guess. So it was hard for me to change it. I'm all about the aesthetic and the design and how it looks. I love art, I love design, I love decorating, I love all that. But more important than that is the message in the book. And that's something we as indie authors and independent authors need to realize and need to remember, that yes, the design is important, but we need to make sure that it serves its function, maybe over the form. Okay, so I had to change it. I didn't want to, but I did. And it still looks nice and it still works. So children can read it and understand it. Now, I like to say my children's books are educational or inspirational, and this was the first inspirational book that I published. My second book, I Can Do Hard Things. I love that one too. Gosh. But this is the first inspirational book I published. Prior to this, all of my books were standards aligned. They were educational. They were books that teachers could easily use in the classroom along with their lessons and instruction. But this one is pretty special. It's an inspirational book, and I hope it inspires generations of children, and I hope it inspires you as well. So sit back, relax. You can grab some popcorn, grab a drink of coffee or water or something, whatever it is you like to drink. And I'm going to share a preview of my book, I Have a Dream, Success from A to Z. I Have a Dream, Success from A to Z by yours truly, Kathy Smith. Dedicated to one of the greatest dreamers of our time, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Far above the clouds and over the highest heights is where you'll find my dream at the summit of delights. It's also in my heart, in a very special place. If I let it lead the way, it will take me to a space beautiful and vast, beyond all I can see, a place with endless opportunity, a place just for me. But before my dream can take me to this place I'd like to be, I must have special qualities that will bring my dream to me. So I'll develop these qualities, and I will make a vow to say every day that I have them all right now. Audacious. I am daring and adventurous when I have a dream. I take bold steps with confidence, no matter how lofty they seem. Brave. I am brave and courageous, my heart strong as can be. I'm as bold as a lion, and there's a roar inside of me. Consistent. I am disciplined and consistent, my effort I control. I know consistency will eventually take me to my goal. Determined. I am determined and steadfast. I've settled it in my mind. As I reach for my dream, I look forward, not behind. Enthusiastic. My awesome dream excites me and gives me such a thrill. It makes me enthusiastic and fills me with happiness and zeal. Focused. I am focused on my dream. I have it in full view. I will do everything necessary to see my dream come true. To read more, pick up your copy of I Have a Dream, Success from A to Z at Amazon. Now, I know I mentioned this book is inspirational, but it is also educational because children can be introduced to many new vocabulary terms that they might not have a deep understanding about, such as audacious or optimistic. So these are words that are introduced in the book that teachers and parents can dive into so students would gain a better understanding of these words, because I believe it's important for children to know these words. So this book is inspirational and it's also educational, and it also gives them knowledge for success. I think if you speak with a lot of successful individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs, anyone who achieves something really great, I think if you ask them what contributed to their success, I think they would say a lot of the words that are mentioned in this book. And so that's what I wanted to do. I didn't do a lot of research for this book. I just thought of words, with the letters of the alphabet that would be pretty monumental in achieving your dreams. Now, of course, after I wrote the book, I thought of other words that I could have used, but I'm very happy with the way this one turned out. Now, with the letter Y, that one was tough, so I did have to improvise and get a little creative with that one. If you can think of a word, characteristic for success that begins with the letter Y, please let me know in the comments, because that letter Y was giving me a hard time. And I also know the power of affirmations and speaking words over your life. I believe when we speak words that, of course, we're hearing it, but I believe our self-conscious is also hearing it and picking it up as well. And there's been a lot of research on the importance and the significance and the effectiveness of saying affirmations. In fact, University of Pennsylvania researchers show that repeating self-affirmations produces physical changes in brain regions associated with self-processing, ultimately impacting their view of themselves. And these changes are associated with subsequent positive changes in people's behavior. So if we can get children and students understanding these characteristics and qualities and saying these affirmations, and if we can really help them grasp it at an early age, there is no limit to their potential and what they can do when they are out of school. I hope you have enjoyed this visit with my very special book, I Have a Dream, Success from A to Z. And if you're a teacher and you're ready to publish your very own inspirational children's book, I would love to help you at Teacher Authors Academy. Just click the link in the description to learn how you can learn more. And if you're not a teacher, it's not a problem. I've created a space where you can learn at Summa School. I'll place that link in the description for you as well. So happy Black History Month. I do want to take a moment and just celebrate and acknowledge all of the wonderful people who have gone before us and led the way so that I could be sitting here before you today, and to help me pen words to inspire another generation to reach for their dreams. I think one of the greatest thank yous, if you will, we can give to those who have gone before us is to be great, do great things, and inspire the generation who's coming after us. So happy Black History Month. I hope to see you soon, where I can share all the magic and wonders of self-publishing. Bye-bye.